pretty obvious, really, for him. And a lot of tanks are in unsieged mode, though, and unsieged. He needs to siege up for this fight. Really, come on, really, you need to siege up. And my video froze. Noes. Oh, noes, my video froze. Come on, video, come back to me. There it is. There it's back to me. And now big engagement going on. I assume that the nice stasis got off catching 5 tanks there. And a lot of these Dragoons are going down. There's just a lot of tanks, but there aren't a lot more Vultures coming in here to really block. But it just looks like the tank numbers are probably going to be enough to stop this push by Anytime. Not enough Dragoons. Yeah, not enough Dragoons. Most importantly, not enough Zealots. Not enough Zealots. Some not the best army composition for Anytime. Unable to produce enough Zealots. And how is this Zealot still slow? Yeah, those are still slow Zealots. It doesn't look like Anytime ever upgraded speed Zealots. Wow. But he is going to be able to clean up his forces in the towards the 12 o'clock position, and he may be able to start doing some damage here at the 12 o'clock position. Really, he's going to have to respond very, very strongly in order to save this base. He needs this base operational. He cannot afford to go down to only one mining base and oppose Anytime who will still be mining off of 2. That would just be a bad spot for him. We got 5 Dragoons there, and a couple mines going off here. But where's that? That mine was going nuts, going for that Dragoon that was outside. That was weird. But these Dragoons do have position inside of his base, inside of that 12 o'clock position. We got some Vultures coming here, probably going to try and get in there and lay some more mines while the tanks follow up and try to siege up. We got 7 Dragoons now in that base, and an Arbiter as well. Maybe getting a stasis off at the choke could finish off this base. But no, a nice EMP coming off and killing off all of the energy in that Arbiter. Once again, really doing a pretty solid job recently of his EMPs. This 12 o'clock base actually is getting close to mined out, so even if this base is lost, I suppose it's not that big of a loss. Probably only a couple thousand minerals left total in all of those patches combined, so not the hugest loss in the world. Could probably be absorbed, and a lot of tanks came in there to defend as well. So really, with that successful defense, I think he's still, once again, he's got a good chance right now to take this down. It's still very, very close. It could be anyone's game. A couple good stasises, a couple good spots could completely change it. Arbiter going down as Anytime playing a little bit carelessly there, losing that Arbiter to just a single Goliath. And it looks like Anytime's actually going to split the forces of Really. Really's forces are split right and left. This is bad for Really. He could be losing half of his forces right now as, yeah, he's trying to get a pincer in. Anytime is getting one nice stasis off on the tanks in the front. And he's got a lot of Dragoons just walking in, really just throwing down a D-Matrix, hoping that that'll work. But now coming the counter pincer. The pincer attack is being pincered by Really. He might be able to come clean this all up, and it looks like he is going to be so, but once again, both players losing a lot of army. This is just a very interesting game where both players are swapping army. We're not seeing any really waits from these two players. Usually you see one player, you'd maybe wait for 200, get close to max out before pushing out. I don't think we've seen any 200 fights yet by either player, which is very, very odd in a PvT, but that's what we've got here. We've got a very action-based, intense game going on, and it looks like all the bases are very nearly mined out. Top left and 12 o'clock are almost mined out for Really. I gotta think that Anytime's bottom right is almost mined out. His natural is mined out. His main maybe has a couple mineral patches with, like, 50 minerals in it or something like that. And we'll see what the 6 o'clock is. We haven't seen that in a little bit, so I can't tell how much is there right now. Actually, the 6 o'clock position does have a good number of minerals in it, so that could end up playing a very important role right now. And really throwing down a ton of mines. You're going to try and pick off some more units. Going to try and get to this position and do some economic harassment. And see how much luck he has here. He needs to place some more mines there really at the choke and try and do some more damage if he can. Getting a nice scan off there. Going to try and catch some more probes. And not the greatest micro right now from Really. Not catching as many probes as maybe he could. But he is still getting a lot. But this isn't really what Really needs to do with his vultures. This isn't what he should be doing. Really, those vultures should be saved to defend his tanks. That's really the key. Anytime's army composition has been kind of lackluster, I gotta say, throughout most of it. Actually, and I think he does have speed. I think I just misgauged that. But we see some High Templars out as well. We haven't seen a lot of Zealots. Haven't seen as many speed Zealots as we often do out of Protoss players. So Anytime's been losing a lot of Dragoons. And if there's just a few more Vultures out, he really could be... Jeez, really, why do you gotta make it so hard to commentate? I keep noticing every now and then. I keep saying it. But, if Really had more Vultures blocking, he could absolutely decisively take more battles. But he just keeps losing Vultures here and there for economic harassment, which at the late game just, I don't know if it's really worthwhile at this point. There's just too many probes to really assume that you can get in there. If there's only like 10 probes or 15 probes, you can get in there and pick off half of them, that's great. But when there's 30 probes mining and you pick off 15, or even if you pick off 10, it's really not that big of a deal. It's still pretty decent saturation going down at the base, so... That's kind of why you don't want to do it. But Vultures coming in here are going to pick off at least one High Templar, causing it to use its Storm. Looks like one High Templar remains. Yeah, so this is going to be the first time for Storms. And Vultures, again, threatening some High Templars, forcing them to waste their Storms and die in the process. So some good Vulture play that time, catching some of those High Templars. Very smart play. And we've got a lot of forces coming to the bottom for both players right now. We're going to see a pretty big engagement, I think. And I hope really remembers to siege up this time. He has a tendency to very, very late sieges in this game, and that's been hurting them pretty bad. It looks like he's going to siege up in time this time. Maybe he can leapfrog some tanks forward and try and put on the pressure that way, because Anytime, not in a great spot right now. He's got some High Templar coming in, but it's really probably not enough energy. Maybe one storm each on them. But yeah, he looks like he's going to try and make the broadest front possible to take on Really's army and try and finish this off. If Anytime can win this battle, if Anytime can save that base in the 6 o'clock position, he should be in a fantastic position. Got an Arbiter coming in here. Looks like it probably got a good stasis off. Maybe not. No, hasn't even stasis yet. And just too many tanks. Anytime cannot engage right now. Just doesn't have enough zealots to absorb and run into the tank lines. But yeah, Really is completely mined out. Anytime is virtually mined out. Another good EMP going off, catching a lot of those Dragoons and maybe an Arbiter as well. But all these siege tanks are still alive. That is a very large siege tank force, and we've got a couple siege tanks that are picking up that Nexus. So, but that mineral field is pretty much done. Maybe 500-600 minerals left. So this is endgame. We are no longer at late game. We are at endgame. There are no more minerals essentially left on the map to speak of. There's just nothing left at this point. The one thing that Really could do that could be cool is lifting off buildings and using them to be a distractionary force. He could also pull off SCVs, which are just plain better fighters than probes, and a little bit more useful when it comes to fighting Dragoons. I'd say SCVs are better against the Dragoons than probes are against tanks, and Vultures. So that is an advantage for him. And we got a covert ops out, so I don't see a nuclear silo. So maybe for lockdown, possibly some lockdown on Arbiters. That would be pretty late for that, but if somehow he has the money for it, I suppose that it could be useful, just because a couple of lockdowns and on those Arbiters, and that could be GG as well. So Anytime are really trying to expand the number of ways he can really force the GG, I guess, right now. Looks like Really's going to try and take that 6 o'clock base, take whatever minerals are left, maybe try and get a couple more tanks out of them, maybe some Vultures, whatever he really wants, or it could just be a couple science vessels, ghosts. He's got a lot of lots of choices here. Science vessels and ghosts obviously have energy, so they'll be the reusable units. They'll have more use here in the end game, at least repetitive use. But at the same time, he needs to make sure that he has enough tanks and has enough of other units that he can get away with those kinds of units. We've got some Vultures coming here, picking off another High Templar. That is just painful for Anytime. He cannot afford to continuously lose these High Templar. I'm sure that whatever money he has left, that will just go straight to High Templar just because they're cheaper. But still, he can't have a lot left in the bank, and he doesn't want to lose it. And it looks like this minefield in the middle of the map is going to get cleared out, and I wonder where Anytime's really trying to push right now. It looks like he's trying to push, but I don't know what he's trying to do right now. Another Arbiter being caught by EMP, but I think a Science Vessel may have been sacrificed to do this. And he might be able to pick off the top left base, maybe pick off the 12 o'clock base. I don't think Really cares. All Really cares about is the 6 o'clock base that's going to mine for another minute, maybe not even a minute, maybe 20 seconds, half a minute, and his factories. And even that is questionable how much he really cares about them. Yeah, he needs his scanners, but as long as he has his main and his natural and that third base at the 6 o'clock base, he's got 2-3 scanners, so he should be fine there on scanner count against only 1 or 2 Arbiters. So yeah, I don't think taking down these bases at the top left is really going to do too much to help Anytime. It's a little bit, it gives him a little bit of a victory, but not all that strategically crucial, to be honest. And we can tell that Really's not responding, not really